before I dive into doing some important things for myself for the rest of the day. And what I wanted to share was some of the routines that I did in this morning to help promote health, longevity, and improve energy and mindfulness. I think that there are little things we can do throughout our days and our lives that, when done consistently, help promote overall health and well being. I notice personally when I do these things, I feel better. And then when I don't do these things, I'm less focused, I'm more anxious or stressed. And so for me, I am a student of of many things in life, but one of them is I study Brendan Burchard's high performance habits. Brendan Burchard is a high performance coach, and he works with leading CEOs like billionaires, millionaires, athletes, artists, performers, and then he provides a lot of coaching materials to lots of people. And so I'm really interested in personal growth and development. That's why I created Effortless Qigong, and I offer the energy and mindfulness coaching that I do. So my name is Jared, and I'm a Qigong teacher and stress and energy coach. Okay. And I help people, busy professionals, have less stress and more energy throughout their day and week so they can get things done that they want to do. I want to share some of the habits I did this morning for myself and see if they resonate with you. So this morning I got up, I did a breathwork session. For me, breathwork is so important. One of the things I notice for myself is that throughout the week, when I'm stressed and anxious, my breath becomes constricted. And so for me, I do breath work to actually help open up and expand my breathing capacity in the morning, but also to get many of the benefits that come from doing a breathwork practice. There's a way to breathe normally throughout the day that helps you to live and to be functioning well. And learning how to do that's important. But then there's also lots of great breathing exercises that we can learn to do to boost energy in the morning or to help relax in the evening. So this morning I got up and did a breathwork session that really focuses on boosting energy. After that, I actually went down and I did like some water first thing in the morning. I drank this longevity mix that I'm trying from Brendan Burchard, and then I drank some green tea with some ginseng. Went for a run to boost my energy, and then I also did a qigong practice, so I'm stretching. I have a bit of time today, so I'm doing more routines than I would normally do. If I, for example, had to work at 6 a.m., I would adjust these habits for how much time I actually have. But for today, I have more time. I'm gonna try to fit in more of these healthy habits to so I feel great. And also, when I do these healthy habits on a day like today where I have more time, I can actually set up my nervous system and my mind and my mindfulness for the rest of the week, right? Because you don't want to come into the week distracted, tired, and stressed. It's great to do some habits to help you clear that stress, promote focus, and that can make your week go a lot better. After that, I did a little shower, and I took 20 minutes this morning to just sit in silence on my meditation cushion. That helps me to clear out some of that mental noise and just observe my thinking, relax, get away from anything that's stimulating me like my phone. After that, I have this book called The Self-Talk Solution by Helm, Shad Helmstetter. In this book, he talks about the importance of self-talk. So after I meditate, where I clear down my thinking, I then read these scripts that he has in the book. So he has all these self-talk scripts. So for example, if I was to share with you one of them, let's say the self-talk script was reducing stress. He would explain it, and then I like to read these because the affirmations help, one, program my mind, but they also inspire how you think and frame your life. Okay, so for example, if you were to read the reducing stress script, some of the lines he has are: I am calm and confident. I have the quiet self assurance of winning in my life. Relaxation is important to me, and I always get the right amount. I make sure that I take not only the time to work at achievement, but also the time to enjoy the beauty of life along the way. I choose not to spend my life trying to live up to expectations of others. I allow no one to impose their pressures or demands on me without my choice, my acceptance, and my approval. I consciously and unconsciously remove all harmful stress from my life. I allow only those energies which are positive and good for my total well being to work within me. You get the idea. I really like reading these scripts because they help me to just frame the type of thoughts that I would like to have in my life. Okay, and now I want to show you this next thing that I'm doing, which is this is my high performance journal from Brendon Burchard. Do not mind my terrible handwriting. So this is the journal, a high performance planner from Brendon Burchard, and I've been using this the last couple of months. I also use it on my phone, but I just found that taking a journal that gets me away from my phone and helps me do this work in a distraction-free environment is really great. So this is the journal. One of the things I like about this journal is it gets you to do a life assessment. So you can do an assessment of your health, your emotions, your family life, all these things. And it just gives you a good idea. Like you can tell that mine's 49. So I have work to do in some key areas of my life to get that score up. And it goes up and down through different periods and chapters of your life. So that's fine. One of the things I like about Brendon Burchard is he has this HP6 high performance habits system that he's developed through research and many years of high performance coaching, which comes down to your clarity, your energy, your necessity, productivity, influence, and your courage. And so every day I actually do an assessment on that as well, but I'll show you that. Okay, so there's a lot more stuff in here you guys can look at if you were to get one. Boom. But what I like is the daily system. So every day I insert a message to myself. One of the things about being a high performer and showing up to life in a conscious way is you want to be able to tell yourself consciously how you are going to be showing up in the day and not letting only external factors do that. You set your top 3 priorities, which I always like to do. You say what's your most important thing you want to get done in the day. Anyone you need to connect well with or lead well, you can affirm that. And then this for me is what I like to do after I've meditated and kind of done some self exercise and movement in the morning, is the morning mindset. And a simple thing is one thing I can get excited about today, for example. You could always look at these questions in more detail. But for me, these questions help frame my mind in a high quality way instead of, a lot of us are getting up, we're on social media, embracing the news, just dealing with what's coming into our minds. But what's nice about using this high performance journal is that it has those morning mindset questions. And according to Brendon Burchard, they've done studies that show that people that actually do these mindset prepping in the morning, it just takes 5 or 10 minutes, you know what I mean? Helps you to perform at a higher level throughout the day. Okay, so for me, it's been a big help for me to have more clarity and mindfulness throughout my day, and that is really nice. So those are some of the things I do. Now today I have more time. If I have less time, I'm more flexible in how I do it. But I do think one of the things that I'm grateful for in my life is that I've taken time to invest in learning different tools and ways of cultivating my energy and prepping my mind and doing these things. And that's been a big help for me. Because I think one of the things that I've noticed is that there's constantly going to be distractions in life, things pulling at your attention, especially in this age of social media where we have all these tech companies basically designing their apps to suck your attention. It's important to have systems in place that you have in your life to overcome that constant pulling and distraction. So this is a basic how to reduce distractions. Any suggestions? Well, it kind of depends on what your distractions are. For me, I've noticed that there's a lot of different things we can do. For example, having time throughout your day where you put the phone away. I mean, it depends on what your distractions are. For me, I've turned off a lot of notifications from apps. I've also been deleting some apps on my phone and only downloading them when I need them. Setting time where you put the phone away and journal and you can reflect upon. You can list out like what are my distractions in a big list. Um, by doing that, you start to figure out what your distractions are. And once you know what your distractions are, you can start to clear them more consciously. Ultimately, I think overcoming our distractions requires our awareness and increasing our awareness toward things. I don't know if anyone's there, but that's what we can do. Some of the things I'll be doing, continuing to overdo my distractions or overcoming my distractions, is I'm going to be probably getting a new distraction-free phone. There are new brands of phones coming out that don't have the same app ecosystem as this one. So I want to make my main normal phone that I use for like texting, using Google Maps, looking at my daily planner if I have it on there. I just want an ecosystem for my phone that's not built around distraction, because all these apps, if you've noticed, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they have these shorts that they've put on all of their platforms. And the only reason they've done that is to suck you in and keep you scrolling, because they have these engineers that work at these companies just trying to keep you scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's really quite devastating, I think, if we look at how it's hurting people's mental health and their lives and these things. So we want to be even just starting to be aware of that there are shorts on every single platform, and that these shorts are not normal. This is not how, like, there's no reason to actually have these on all the platforms, and you can't turn them off oftentimes. Like on YouTube, you have no customization ability to shut off the shorts, or really even cultivate high quality information on YouTube, which is a bit of a downfall of the current ecosystems we have on these platforms. So that being said, we have to be conscious of these distractions and start to cut them out. But for me, it's been like deleting the apps has been a big thing for helping, and then also just having certain time where I, for example, work on my journal and these types of things. So that's all I have to say for today. I like that question. How to reduce distractions, any suggestions? I'm going to take that question and contemplate that more deeply, and maybe make a video on that in the near future. However, that being said, like, there's things I have to focus on and build right now, and I'm gonna keep trying to do a short live stream throughout the week as part of my habit system. I don't do them every day, but I'm gonna keep doing them more and more, because I notice every time I go live, you guys ask great questions, I learn things, and when I'm just speaking out loud, it helps me to improve my own thinking as well. Someone says Insta became the reason for their downfall and still didn't find a way to reduce my screen timing. I personally cannot download these apps like Instagram because they just suck me in. So even when I will be using these platforms in the future to share content, but I'm gonna be doing it through like the Facebook business or Meta business, so I can post it without being on the app itself. I mean, fundamentally, I think you have to decide right now that you're gonna reclaim your time, and you're gonna not let distraction rule you anymore. And if that means deleting apps, delete them. If it means downloading an app on your phone that allows you to block apps or limit your time use on apps. And then also you have to like eventually, like, what do you want to spend your time doing? What really interests you? What are you doing right now? What matters to you? You know, start to ask yourself those questions so you can, over time, get away from these apps, because these apps are making use of your dopamine system. So you're just constantly getting dopamine hit after dopamine hit, getting locked into this feeling of distraction and excitement and interest. And so when you're away from your phone, you feel bored and you feel like this craving to go back to the app. So part of it is, one, you're gonna have to face discomfort. It's gonna be uncomfortable a little bit. And then two, just start listing out, what your distractions are. Start making a conscious effort over time. There's a good book called Phone Addiction. I think it's called Phone Addiction by Alan Carr. And he goes into explaining how to overcome your phone addiction. Phone addiction isn't something we talk about in our culture, but it's huge, and a lot of us are dealing with it. Even myself, I'm actively undoing my phone addiction over time. But I also have to use these. I also want to make use of social media in a healthy way when I go live and use these platforms. So it's a balance. But good question. Let's continue to ask that throughout the rest of the day. How can we overcome our distractions? How can we overcome our phone addiction? And what does our life even look like without that? They showed that like if you spend an hour on your phone scrolling through shorts, that's per week, that's 7 days a week, that's 7 hours a week, and then 14, 21, that's 28 hours a month. So basically, if you spend an hour per day scrolling on your phone, you're losing like a whole work week. And I think most of us are spending more than an hour scrolling and distracted on our phone. So we're losing a work week or 2 work weeks a month scrolling on useless information. And so think about that true cost of distraction. Distraction is incredibly expensive. Distraction is what's keeping you from your dreams. It keeps you from meaningful relationships. Like if you're feeling lonely, isolated, depressed, it's probably because you're just so distracted right now that you're not actually investing your time into building a high quality life, right? Like think of all the things you could do if you weren't scrolling mindlessly on your phone. You could meditate, you could socialize, you could study and improve your skills in life. You could build your dreams with the time you're losing and scrolling. Not to say that we can't enjoy these apps. It's fun to look at shorts sometimes, but unconsciously falling into doom scrolling is just ruining your life. And it's time to make a change. Anyway, we'll talk about more of this in the future. If you use AI right now, ask ChatGPT, what are some ways I can cut down on distraction and begin to spend my time toward life-fulfilling activities to actually help me improve my life? Let's start focusing on that more often than unconscious distraction. All right, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.